Today, we are going to be learning from a woman who has been leading the way for other women for well over a decade. Before packing up her entire life 3 years ago to move to Thailand and begin living her dream life, Candice Ford was the owner of the first CrossFit gym in the UAE and a CrossFit Games athlete. Candice is a life coach who primarily works with outwardly successful women who internally have lost their fizz. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome Candice.
Thank you, Jessie. It's lovely to be here.
I am going to turn myself off and hand straight over to you, and then we'll get started.
Amazing. Okie dokie. Right, guys, give me a second while I just flip my screen over. In fact, I'm going to say hi from here. So as Jessie wonderfully introduced me, my name is Candice Ford. I'm going to be taking you through my framework about learning to honor yourself first today. Today's going to be super interactive, so we're going to strip everything back. I'm going to share with you exactly what you need to know in order to get started. So if you haven't had a chance to print off the worksheets that I know Jessie shared a few hours ago, no problem. Make sure you've got a pen and a paper handy because I'm going to guide you through all the questions as well. If you do have any questions as we go, you can either pop them in the chat or in the Q&A box, and depending on where we are, I will pause throughout, take questions, or anything that's better served at the end, I will take at the end of our conversation. So without further ado, let me take this back to the beginning because that's always a good place to start. Okay, so we're going to talk today about getting unstuck and defining your non-negotiable life. This is something I do with all of my clients, and I cannot stress highly enough how defining non-negotiables that are going to support you now, where you are and where you are going, will be in building a life that inspires you. So, Self-Honor 101. We're going to talk today about coming home to yourself. I'm going to share a little bit about my story. I'm going to bust a myth that pisses me off no end. And I just realized I'm not sharing my screen with you. My apologies. Where are we wanting to be? Here. Share. And let's come back in. Wonderful. Sorry about that, guys. Got overexcited. So there we are. Get unstuck and define your non-negotiable life. This is where we are going to be hanging out today. As I was saying when I realized my boo-boo, we're going to be discussing coming home to yourself, busting the myth that honoring yourself is a selfish thing to do, defining your non-negotiables, and looking at your season, your vision, and what it is to live your life with joy. Okay, so coming home to yourself. All too often I meet people who don't really know what they want. They're chasing down somebody else's version of success, living by other people's needs, expectations, and not showing up for themselves. They think they are, but what they're actually doing is constantly living this perpetuated vision of success, and they've lost sight of who they are, where they are, and what they want. All too often we look outside for the rewards and for the gratification of the work that we're doing instead of looking inwards. And that's what it is to honor yourself first. To start with where you are, to come home to the essence of who you are and grow forward in the world from that place. And I'm going to encourage you today to really come home to yourself and embrace what that means for you. So who am I? My name is Candice Ford. As I said, I'm a certified life coach, health coach, and have a whole wealth of other health, fitness, wellness, as well as university degrees in human development. I'm absolutely inspired by helping people make the most of who they are, whether that's through moving their bodies, tips and tricks on how they live their life, or really digging deep into the essence of who they are. And I came to Self-Honor 101 already a certified life coach, already a successful business owner, but I will never forget the day that I sat at my desk, staring at my unending to-do list, looking out onto the floor of my business, knowing it needed me to show up, and not being able to find the energy to even start the first task. I was apathetically clinging to a life that I now realize I'd built for a different version of myself. And in that moment, I was so consumed by the underwhelm of everything that was going on for me, I didn't even know where to begin. And time again, I see people who've been so hard, swimming head down, chasing this vision of success that maybe they started out chasing with the best of intentions, and they look up and realize just how far, of course, they've come. Because that 1 degree of separation at the start will take you to a place that is unrecognizable to the journey you think you set out on. But if you are successful and yet underwhelmed by where you are, or feeling stuck in life at this moment, that's absolutely okay. Because you have a path, a trail of success behind you that maybe led you to the wrong place, but there's so much that you've learned along the way. I'm testament to that. And Self-Honor 101 is going to be a toolkit for you to shake off the underwhelm, to shake off the stuckness and really step into the essence of who you are and who you want to become. So, the myth that I want to bust for you today is that self-honor is in some way selfish. Trust me, it was the hardest thing for me to learn too. And yet on some level, we will always put ourselves last. We will say no to what we need and yes to what we think we should do based on everybody else's needs, even our own warped vision of success. And actually sometimes what we need to do is slow down, take a breath, say no to everything else and say yes to ourselves. So if you take just one thing away from our conversation today, I want you to take away that honoring yourself first is absolutely categorically not selfish. And in fact, when you show up for yourself first, everybody around you gets a better version of you through doing that. So, non-negotiables. This is your tool in honoring yourself first. We all have non-negotiables. We all do things habitually. However, whether they're serving us or not is a very, very different matter. If you're one of those people that gets stressed, powers through the work week, and then crashes on the sofa with fast food, drink, whatever it might be, or if you have a tendency to pull away from friends or throw yourself too much into your social life, you have non-negotiables that are out of whack with what you truly need. And when you consciously craft your non-negotiables, you can fundamentally change your life. So, Self-Honor 101, this is where what I'm talking about is going to hit the road. This is where we are going to dive in together. I'm going to guide you through the process, and I'm going to take questions along the way. So just before how do I navigate this process? I just want to see if there are any questions. Here we go. Do we have any questions in our Q&A box? Hi. Wonderful. Okay. Empty right now. I'm navigating, guys. Thank you for your patience. If you have any questions as we go through each section now, I will pause to take questions. So let's dive back in. Self-Honor 101. All right. So, Self-Honor 101, in defining your non-negotiable life, there's 3 things that we're going to look at today. We're going to get clear on your season. That's where you are right now, where you are in your life, and what non-negotiables are going to support you in this place. The second thing we're going to get clear on is your vision. And I have a slightly different take on vision to the one that you may be used to. We're not going to be creating vision boards. We're not going to be creating a list of milestones or a checklist of stops along the way. We're going to talk about the essence of who you are. And last but not least, we're going to define a non-negotiable that will bring joy to your life. whether that's joy in this moment or joy every day for the rest of your life, we're going to have one indulgent non-negotiable just for joy. So seasons. Just like the seasons change with the weather, life has a natural ebb and flow. At any given time, we're turning up the volume on some things and turning down the volume on others in order to support ourselves. And the better you get at turning up the volume and down the volume on different areas of your life, the better you're going to be able to support yourself. Typically, I find that we live in 3 seasons: a season of strive, season of thrive, and a season of heal. You could almost think of them as future-focused, present, and recovery. So, if you have your handout, you will see that there is on the second page some lovely little overbleached in my video boxes that talk in a little bit more detail about the seasons. But essentially, a season of strive is about growth and gain. It's high spend, but it's also high yield, and it's highly creative. It's a productive time. It's a time where you are moving forward in your life. It could be at work, it could be a house move, it could be the arrival of a baby, it could be a big move. It's about forward momentum. A season of strive requires non-negotiables around energizing, creating, really filling yourself up. And it also requires non-negotiables that link to recovery and being able to maintain momentum in your season of strive. Oftentimes in a season of strive, whilst you're creating and you're dynamic and you're energetic, there's also a risk of burnout. So having the ability to pause, to collect, and to refuel yourself in this season is going to be really important. Something that can show up if you're in a season of strive is fear or imposter syndrome. A feeling that you're not good enough, that you can't keep up with your own momentum. And that's why a desire to play small can creep in at this time. So with a season of strive, we're going to need non-negotiables that support both the highly positive, but also the restrictive elements of the season. In a season of thrive, this is about presence, about engagement and gratitude, celebrating your successes, embracing the present, and reaping the rewards of what you've built and achieved. When you are really grounded in a season of thrive, you're embracing everything that's going on. Non-negotiables around routine, about consistency, about joy and celebration can really reward you here. On the flip side, in a season of thrive, there can be a sense of stagnancy or an itchy feet to get on and do something more. And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a sign that the season is coming to an end, but other times it's a sign that you're rushing ahead of yourself and you're not being present. So just like with strive, in a season of thrive, we're going to look for non-negotiables that support you within the season, but also support you in these undermining elements that can bubble up. The last season, and more often than not when I first meet people, this season of heal is one that feels a bit icky and a bit unnecessary. And all too often it's exactly where people need to be. You see, a season of heal is a time of recovery and grounding. Ideally, it's a time of deep reflection and it's a conscious choice. But all too often it comes as a necessity because of burnout. And with that comes a sense of loss or stuckness. With time though, you can step into a season of heal as a natural recovery from the strive season that you're invariably coming out of. It's a time to regroup, to collect, to be present with yourself, to meet yourself where you are and the needs that you have. It can be a beautiful time to really reflect and embrace where you want to be moving forward. However, in that season of heal, just like the others, there's this bubbling sense of ickiness and of a sense that you need to get going. That you're, what's the word that I'm looking for? A sense of guilt, there it is, and of negative self-talk. That you're not doing enough, that you're not enough, that you're not moving forward, that you shouldn't be resting. When in fact, that's exactly what you need in that season. So countering those with a real sense of recovery, with patience and with kindness for yourself. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. And then I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, very consciously, for you guys to write down how you're feeling and where you are now. So first of all, which season resonates with you most? Just that gut feeling, that's where I want to be. Doesn't have to be the season that you're in or that you know that you need, just the one that resonates, the one that you want to have more of in your life. And then I want you to shift and look at what your primary focus is right now. And lastly, what season do you need to embrace? Not the one that you want, not the one that feels exciting, but the one that you need. And if you've got different seasons in different areas of your life, that's absolutely fine. Identify them, acknowledge them, but then select one that you want to work with for the purpose of defining non-negotiables today. So again, what season resonates with you most and why? What's your primary focus right now? And what season do you need to embrace? I'm going to give you 2 minutes. When you guys are done, I'd love it for you to pop the season that you're going to work with today into the chat. Awesome. Strive, heal. Good awareness, team. I like that. Strive. Cool, Sarah. Great. Strive, heal. Awesome, guys. Gilbert, team, I love to see that you're embracing heal. Another 30 seconds for you guys to make any more notes of things that are showing up here. Okay, great. All right, we're going to keep going. So keep a note of the season that you feel is the one that you're going to need. As we move forward, we're going to define non-negotiables that support this season specifically in the energy that's coming up, but also in awareness of the undermines or the obstacles that can show up with it. The second thing that we're going to look at, and I would love for you guys to get involved with this today, is looking at your vision. Now, we've all heard talk of vision, of what vision is, of what vision means. Let me minimize myself here. That makes me happier. Sorry. Okay. Vision is all too often this very tangible thing that people put pictures of up on a wall. And it becomes this series of checkboxes. And the thing that frustrates me about having such a goal-oriented, milestone-based, tangible achievement list as your vision is it doesn't speak to the essence of who you are and who you want to be. And that's what I want us to look at today. I would love, my dream would be for you guys to leave today with this really visceral sense, to be able to close your eyes and feel the energy of what it is to honor your vision, to be able to sense in whatever sense works for you, whether you close your eyes and you can imagine the images, whether it's a sense of feeling in your heart. I want you to have a vision that is so clear and so visceral that honoring your vision becomes effortless. That's the goal for today. We're clear on your season. We're clear on where you are right now. What I want to do is now ground you in the essence of who you are, a sense of who you want to become. So it's about a dream, the essence, the aspiration. But it's also very real. It's very true to who you are. What I want you guys to do Put your pen down, put your paper down. Sit back in your chair and take a deep breath. And another one. I'd like you to close your eyes and take another deep breath. Clear your head and let your breath deepen. A little bit of trust here, and we're going to cast your mind forward. So with your eyes closed, still breathing deeply, I want you to cast your mind forward 5, maybe 7 years. Something that feels relatively far into the future, but still close enough that if you reach out with the fingertips of your mind, you have a sense of what's there. Breathe in that place, growing into your distant future, grounded in the essence of who you are. The greatest version of yourself, honoring what's most important to you and letting what's not important fall away. Keep that breathing, deep breath in and out. And as you cast your mind forward, I want you to notice what's in your life as you reach into this dream. What's in this vision of the future that you hold for yourself? What's going on in your life? How are you behaving as you wake up in the morning in this future sense of self? What's important? What makes you smile? What's around you? How do you interact with the people in your life? What is your time and energy focused on? What raises your heart rate with excitement? What are you saying no to? Explore what's here, what's possible. And as you feel ready, bring your attention back. Make any notes of what's showing up. Or if it works better for you, stay in the vision of the dream that you hold for yourself. The essence of who you are when you show up as your best self. The life that you aspire to live. How would you describe yourself in this place? Again, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. If you have any questions or would like to share, the chat box will be there for you guys. As you guys start to describe the greatest version of yourself, the essence of who you want to be brave, be courageous. Do you want to be independent? Do you want to be tender? Do you want to be courageous, curious? What kind of person will you be? What becomes effortless when you honor the greatest version of yourself? What are you doing? What will you have found the courage to do? While this is going to be a growth from where you are now, it's also going to be a little bit of a dream, and it's bringing those two pieces together. Stay back here. What's coming up for you guys? Does anyone have anything they would like to share before we move on? Okay. We'll keep going then. I hope you guys have got some juicy visions that are coming up for you. Oh, there we go. Okay. Fear popping up, one of the big reasons I'm so with problems. Okay. All right, I messed up my Canva. Let me fix this first of all. Sorry, guys, I am... All right. Let's stop screen share for a second and come into these questions, because vision is so important. So thank you, Tima. Thank you, Jessie, for bringing this up. Ooh, sorry, How can you self-identify imposter syndrome? Good question, Gilbert. All right, guys, so imposter syndrome is going to come up regardless of what you do, where you are. Fear and limiting beliefs will stay with you. I'm going to speak to this first, and then we're going to get brave. As we grow, our equilibrium is going to be maintained. So at any given point, we're at equilibrium. Yeah, we know that water is always going to find balance. Our emotions are oftentimes the same. As we grow and develop, we feel great. We're like, well, hey, I'm up here crushing life. But as you come up, your fears and resistance are going to come up to meet you at your new level. And it can be really overwhelming and really frustrating as you reach into these visions that you hold for yourself, to then have your fear and limiting beliefs follow you. But the important thing to remember is that with growth, you always want to be challenged, you always want to have balance, and you always want to be in an environment that you are self-aware enough to start to learn to identify those challenges. So simply the fact that you guys have got imposter syndrome showing up and the awareness to call it what it is a great thing. Okay. So, how do I identify this collectively and move around it? So the vision that you hold for yourself is going to be one that, yes, will be constrained by where you are now. But by loosening the reins a little bit and reaching into the future, even if in one area that feels comfortable and that feels safe, you start to build into an environment that supports you. if you are calling imposter syndrome, if you are calling stuckness on yourself, then you can also call bullshit. You can also sit back and really trust that you do know what you want and what you believe. And if reaching too far into the future is overwhelming right now, then let's rein it back. Let's come back to where you'd like to be in 3 months. If you stopped hiding, if you stopped playing small, if you stop limiting yourself now, what is one thing that could be different in 3 months' time? What would you no longer make space for in your life? What is the one thing you know that you should be doing for yourself? Because we all know one. Pop that in for me, guys. What's one thing you know that you should be doing for yourself? Okay, there we go, Jessie, meditating. Who else? Who else has got something they know they should be doing for themselves? I don't care how small or how silly it may seem, pop it in here. My best hack for limiting beliefs is awareness. And I get that that probably sounds a little bit like a cop-out. Good job, Noha, believing in yourself, improving your skills. Yes, yes. Speaking up, well done. Limiting beliefs are a little bit like fears. They're these sneaky, scummy, squirmy little things. I like to think of them as creepy animals in a dark alley. If you look down the alley and all you can see is some distorted shadows and a slimy looking tail sticking out, it seems very scary. And it seems like the first thing you should do is turn your tail and run. But actually, if you grab the tail of that limiting belief and you give it a big ass pull, if you yank that bugger out of the alleyway, pull it out into the light, chances are it is nowhere near as scary as you think it is. But it's by voicing these things that you start to diffuse the power that they're holding over you. You can start to call bullshit on the fears that are letting you play small and that are letting you hold yourself back. Meditating, moving my body more, yes. Instead of letting others making decisions, yes, 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 yes. Mirror, my vision is to build something that creates a social impact and makes a difference in people's lives. When I think about legacy, perhaps it distracts me from living in the now. Okay, Miro, so this is wonderful. This vision that you hold of building something that has social impact that makes a difference in people's lives. It's not super specific. Maybe it is for you, but with what you're sharing, it's not super specific, but you have a sense of this is what you want to do. And right now, that's enough. For all of you who have a sense of what you want to do, and you can't give me the business plan, you can't give me the milestones, you can't give me all of the steps right now, I don't care, I don't need that. I want you to have a sense or a dream of what you would like to build. Do you want to be an inspiration to your kids, to your colleagues, to your family? Do you want to have a beautiful home that fills you with joy? Do you want to live a life where you trust yourself to do what serves you? This is what we're looking for in vision. Don't need the 10-point action list and the plan and the specific goals. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to become? What would it be like to be the greatest version of yourself, and what does that version look like? Because all of these wonderful little things that you guys know you should be doing, if you start showing up and doing those things today and tomorrow and the next day and the day after, not only will you reap the rewards of doing the thing that you know you need, subconsciously you will start to trust yourself more. You will start to honor what you need and where you are, and you will start to trust yourself. Trust that you will honor yourself, that you are worthy of the dreams that you hold for yourself and the vision that right now seems like a far off dream. because I can tell you from personal experience, the vision that I had for LifeSpark, the business I had in Dubai, which I sold in 2010, the vision that I held then never came to fruition. Fast forward 12 years, a different country, a whole different life, and the vision that I had over a decade ago is coming to fruition now. We don't always have control of the timing of the vision that we hold for ourselves, but if day by day we honor ourselves, we honor what we need, we meditate, we breathe, we move our bodies a little bit more, we build the skills that we need, always holding that vision true for ourselves, we will find our way there. And it's rarely on the path that we try and force define at moments like this. Yeah. So Adnan, you've put focusing on what others think rather than what I believe in myself. And this is what honoring yourself first will start to create for you. If you show up for yourself every single day in a few small ways, but small ways that truly honor who you are and what you know you need and want, your voice, your integrity, your honoring of yourself starts to hold a greater level of value than other people's opinions. And as you honor yourself first, as you honor your non-negotiables, you start to establish boundaries that you're not prepared to cross because you're honoring yourself. And as you start to hold these boundaries for yourself, you naturally hold them for other people that are going to push against them. Consistently, about 2 months into defining their non-negotiables, my clients come back to me and they say, everybody's pissed off with me. Everybody's pushing my boundaries. And I'm so grounded in my non-negotiables that I can calmly, collectedly, groundedly tell them, this is the way it is. There's no fight necessary. I know it's different. This is how I live now. This is how I honor myself and how I hold space for the vision that I have. Go with me here, because if you embrace the vision with me, you'll get a better version of me. The ability to do that without confrontation, aggression, or fear, stand up and say, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is how I'm showing up in the world. And I can say this with conviction to you now because I'm doing it for myself. And that comes from trusting that glimmer that you have in your mind of who you are and who you want to be. Does that help? If it doesn't, and if you still have questions, pop them in, because the essence of defining effective non-negotiables is having some sense of a vision that gives you a grounded reason why you should move your body every day, why you should do your meditation, why you should go for that walk. Don't know if I've got a delay on my little chat box, but if someone can give me a yay or nay or something. Thank you, Jessie. Yes, Adnan. What do we have up here? Was it Tima who was asking me initially? Gilbert, you already said that it was making more sense. Tima, has that helped you? Excellent. Okay. I get that this is a lot and it's going to feel a bit messy, and I guarantee you this will be your shittiest go around of defining non-negotiables, but it will also be the most valuable, because you will embrace a toolkit that is going to teach you all of these things in a very natural way. The last non-negotiable, the last element that we are going to talk about. Let's share. Oh, I'm not very efficient at this screen sharing lark. What is even going on here? Right. Broken my Canva. Let's get rid of this. Let's make this nice and big because it's playing silly buggers. Joy. This is the final thing that we are going to talk about in terms of where we want to pull our non-negotiables from. Having non-negotiables that support your season, that support the vision in whatever's showing up for you now. Be kind to yourselves. It will get more clear, I promise you that. And the last non-negotiable that I'm going to let you have today is one for joy. Something that sets your soul on fire, that makes you come alive. That the greatest version of yourself does every day to put a smile on their face, a spring in their step, and feel that fizz bubbling up with excitement to embrace the day. And yes, I can hear you going, set my soul on fire. Jesus, if I knew that, I wouldn't be here. Yes, I hear you. And that's okay. But what do you love right now? Even in my most stuck days, I knew that making a picnic at home, and I would have hummus and tabbouleh and bread, stuffed vine leaves, I'd grill some chicken rich in spices and sauces, I'd get some wraps, there'd be some chips, there'd be some dark chocolate on the back end. But having a healthy picnic spread out in front of me with a movie that I loved, it got my juices flowing, even in the most stuck days. And so if right now that's what it looks like, then embrace it. But embrace something that is going to put a smile on your face, that's going to warm your heart, and that you know is honoring you. Notice I didn't say order in a pizza and flop. It was a really conscious choice to create a spread and an environment that made me feel good. It was a little bit indulgent, but that made me feel great. So whether that's going out for dinner with friends, whether that's curling up in bed at 6 p.m. with your favorite book and staying there until you fell asleep, whether it's a mani-pedi, a massage, a night away, whatever it is, what would fill you with joy right now? What would set your soul on fire right now? What would make you feel a little bit better than you did the hour before you did it right now? Indulge yourself. What does that look like? Scribble it down. Scribble all the things. And if there's 17 different activities that would all be that little bit indulgent, that put a smile on your face and warmth in your heart, write all of them down. Because the beauty of non-negotiables is we're not restricted to a single activity. I'm going to give you another 45 seconds. Keep writing. Get them down, get them down, get them down. Keep them going. If anybody is still writing things that set your soul on fire, you are crushing it. And if you're struggling for anything, that's absolutely fine. Again, we're here to be gentle. We're here to meet ourselves where we are. Where's my box gone? There it is. All right, in the chat, team are good and good. I'm glad it made you tear up with all of the positive intent and compassion. Oh, it made me tear up thinking about it. But it's a sign that you're moving energy, whether it's an ache in your body or tears in your eyes. Something shifts energetically when your state changes. So don't try and understand it, embrace it. Let the tears come if they're there. Because there's magic there. Something has shifted, something has shaken free. Shaken free, shaken free. Yes, Sarah, conscious choice. Conscious choice is at the crux of everything. If you make the conscious choice to honor yourself, if you make the conscious choice to do what serves you, you will fill yourself up to a level that other people won't recognize. And they will get the greatest version of you. Even if they don't like it very much in the beginning, because chances are you'll have to say no a little bit. All right, in my misshapen bit, your non-negotiables. This is where everything we've talked about is going to come to reality. You are going to have 2 non-negotiables for your season, 2 non-negotiables for your vision, and 1 non-negotiable for pure, lustful, sinful, indulgent joy. So, what I want you to do, first of all, is name it. I love short, sharp taglines. As you will see in the handout. Again, if you've not printed it yet, do not worry. It is in your inbox ready for you. But I love non-negotiables that have a short, sharp tagline. Nourish, laugh, move, create, limit, play, restrict. Not restrict. Restrict as if you've got a negative one in them. But non-negotiables are overarching themes that support you where you are. So if you're in your season of strive, which a lot of you were, do you need a non-negotiable about exploration, about creativity, about action, about dynamism, about movement? If you're in a season of heal, do you need a non-negotiable about nourish, about grounding, about love, about nurturing? And equally, as I said with the seasons, what is the non-negotiable that's going to support the downside of the season? So if you're in a season of strive, what non-negotiable is going to make sure that you continue to take care of yourself and fill your cup? If you're in a season of heal, what's the non-negotiable that's going to keep you grounded, keep you present with where you are? Is it about breath work? Is it about journaling? Is it about playing with your kids? Is it about connecting with friends? When it comes to your vision, what can you do each day to support the essence of who you are? What will be the constant in the life that inspires you? Does the greatest version of yourself move every day? Nourish themselves with incredible food? Show love to themselves and the people around them? Connect with friends? Create something every day? Pause every day to notice whatever there is to notice. And what is the non-negotiable that's going to fill you with joy? Once you have an idea of these overarching themes, check in with yourself. Why is that non-negotiable important for you? Does it connect with your season, with your vision, with joy? And before we get on to support it, I'm going to come back into the chat for any non-negotiables that you guys want to share, any questions that you have. My non-negotiables are not misunderstood by the people I know because they do not have traditional values. Do I maintain standards or realign my non-negotiables so that others are comfortable with me? Mira, great question. Do you remain steadfast or realign your non-negotiables so that others are comfortable with me? On the face of it, I would say no. Your non-negotiables need to honor you. However, there is nothing to stop you having a non-negotiable that allows you to honor traditional values. Whatever that looks like for you, culture and cultural awareness, and especially for so many of us that have grown up in the Middle East in this melting pot of different cultures and influences and shifting priorities, it can be very difficult to honor a past, honor a history, honor a traditional value set that no longer sits with who you are. If that's something that you are struggling with, then finding non-negotiables that are going to allow you to be present with yourself but show respect to where you've come from, that can be of great value. However, I would caution you not to sell yourself short, not to undermine who you are to the benefit of everybody else. And I understand that's a very difficult line to walk at times, did you mention it's family values or traditional values? So my question to you would be, is there a non-negotiable either in your season where you are now or in your vision? Again, this is difficult in the group setting to be more specific, but having a non-negotiable that honors that part of your past or your history or that side of your life, whether that's family time, whether that's certain activities that support faith, finding that balance. I'm not being my most articulate, but it's, as I say, difficult in this setting. Ultimately, you want your non-negotiables to serve you and the greatest version of yourself. When we're truly honoring ourselves, we're honoring our integrity, we're honoring our honesty, and we're honoring our truth. And if there's a fundamental divide there, then that's something that you will need to navigate. However, if you're showing up with integrity and honesty, then chances are you can show respect to those traditional values in another way. I hope that makes sense. Okay, thank you, Candice. All right. Anything else coming up with non-negotiables here? Let me share mine with you. It may be helpful. I have been for the last 3 or 4 months in a season of strive, very much so. And I'm in the process of redefining my non-negotiables right now. So it's always wonderful to share them with other people. In my season of strive, my non-negotiables for my season specifically were play and create. My non-negotiable of create was about doing something creative that wasn't specific to work, which was really where I was striving in my life. It would be baking, cooking, doing a jigsaw puzzle, organizing my photos, going out and spending a day with my photography. Something creative, something that I was doing with my hands to create something new that was separate from work. Having a non-negotiable for me in a season of strive around non-work related creativity keeps my energy flowing, keeps my creative juices flowing. My non-negotiable of play was about not getting stuck, about not falling into fear or imposter syndrome. I have a tendency to take myself too seriously, and so a non-negotiable of play and honoring that every single day kept me light, stopped me getting bogged down, stopped me spending 14 hours of my day sat at my computer plodding along and getting stuck in the heaviness that was blocking the creativity. And play could be anything from running around the house with my kids, sticking on the Frozen soundtrack and dancing around the kitchen like a crazy person, being able to sit with my husband and laugh and talk, playing in the pool with everybody. It was simple things, but they diffused the heaviness that could come with an intense season of strive. My non-negotiables for my vision, and these are relatively consistent, are move and nourish, because I know if I move my body every day and I nourish myself both with rich, nutrient-dense food and with simple things like an extra 5 minutes in the shower, which for any of you with children will appreciate is sacred time. But doing something every day to nourish myself, body and soul, and moving my body every day, whether that's going for a walk, shaking off stuck energy, or getting in the gym and doing formal exercise. And the final non-negotiable that was less about joy for me in my last go-round, but was about supporting myself, was a non-negotiable of collecting my thoughts, collecting my energy, which showed up as breathwork or meditation or journaling or just pausing. So those were my non-negotiables. Do they make a little bit more sense there? What if your non-negotiables clash with the people you love? Okay, Adnan, this I think is similar to those traditional values. There's something here about having a very honest and open conversation. And this is where honoring your non-negotiables for yourself first starts to build that level of self-trust that you can start to build this framework around yourself, a buffer. And then it becomes something that you navigate. Are the non-negotiables that you want to set for yourself, or the boundaries that you want to establish, strong enough that you're prepared to hold the people that you love at the edge of those boundaries? And it's a very, very difficult path to navigate. And at some point you have to make the choice whether honoring yourself first, honoring the vision you hold for yourself and what you need most, is worth the trade-off, because there will always be an opportunity cost. And if they're the people that you love and that they love you back, there will come a point that the decision has to be made, because ultimately none of us, regardless of whether it's traditional values, family values, there will come a point that you can't hide from who you are anymore. Honoring your truth, the essence of who you are, becomes a fundamental need. And an inability to do that will keep you playing small. And you can tick the other boxes. You can be happy to a point. You can be successful to a point. You can have joy in instances, but to really embrace joy in your life, that comes from honoring who you are. And it's really not possible to honor the entirety of yourself if you're constantly making compromises. It's not an easy path to navigate. Jesse's saying, yeah, over the years I have honored myself in this way. My closest friends and family learned from my example, and others fell away, while new friends who align with now, wanted to come into my life. And this is what happens. It's very difficult when you're living in a world with family values that don't fit with the path that you are on and the vision that you hold for yourself. But honoring yourself first, again, with a level of respect for other people in your life, but ultimately with self-respect. Whatever path you choose, if you know that you're honoring yourself first, that you're respecting yourself, and that you're showing up for what you need, then you know that you can come home to yourself, secure in who you are. Tough and gratifying, yeah. Would anybody like to share some non-negotiables that they have? Jesse, we've just hit the 1 hour mark. Are we okay to keep going? Okay, good. I just wanted to check, because I want to be here for you guys. I want to show up, I want to take your questions, and I want to make sure that you guys leave today with 5. If we can get to 3, I'll be thrilled, but ideally 5 non-negotiables that you can start to honor. Yes, Adnan. Absolutely. This is exactly what it is. Embracing the possibility that non-negotiables opens up for you is incredible. Because in trusting yourself to show up for yourself every single day, the sense of self-doubt starts to fall away. And then you increasingly get to practice. And if this first go around, as I said, this will be your shittiest version of non-negotiables. If you want to play it safe, play it safe. Test it out. Take the path of things you know you should do, the easy, simple things, and show up and honor them every single day. Very quickly, you'll realize that you can be trusted to do more, to show up more, to honor yourself more. Learn, nourish, move, breathe. I need one more. Those are lovely, Joe. So as you guys start to get your non-negotiables, the last piece on the slide we've got here in front of us, support it. Having the supporting activities that are going to help you where you are now. Rest, show up, eat, doodle. I love it. Connect with music. Wonderful, Tima. So what activities are you going to use to support it? Joe has got learn. Is that reading? Is it podcasts? Is it going on a course? Is it finding a buddy that's got something to teach you? With rest, Tima, is that just getting an early night? Is it using magnesium to help you sleep? Is it turning your screen off an hour before bed? Is it drinking chamomile tea? Using lavender essential oils? Play and sleep, write, create, breath work. Great, Jessie. What does play look like? What does connect mean? And the reason I want you to get specific and write down supporting activities is because those days when it feels tough, when you think, oh, I've got to honor my non-negotiable, I've got to tick those boxes on my tracking sheet on my fridge. You've got a list of supporting activities. Awesome. All right, Adnan, thank you for showing up with a non-negotiable that I can pick apart a little bit. Adnan's got here, spend less time on social media. And the reason I want to flag this is with non-negotiables, we want to try and stay in the positive. So whilst spending less time on social media is going to support Adnan and probably support most of us if we're honest here, by focusing in on the thing that you don't want, you constantly tether to it. There's a concept that I refer to that comes from IIN, health coaching, about crowding out. So by focusing on the things that support us and build us forward in the positive, we suck the oxygen away from the things that are negative, that are holding us back. However, if we tether non-negotiables to the things that are doing us a disservice, no matter how far forward we go, we're still tethered to the negative. So Adnan, an alternative, what else have you got in here? Learn videography. Okay, for learn videography, I would love to see a non-negotiable about learn. So a supporting activity will be videography. But by shifting that non-negotiable from learning something very specific to learning a new skill, you could have a non-negotiable there about embrace learning. So then not only are you embracing videography, but maybe you'll read more, you'll listen to podcasts, you'll explore other courses or video cameras. And by giving yourself a non-negotiable about embracing learning, by indulging that through all of these positive things that are going to help you grow, you'll remove the time to spend on social media. Hell, maybe through learning, you'll put your phone on silent, or you'll get one of those apps that after 25 minutes on, or whatever defined time you spend on your social media apps, it will shut down. And suddenly it's not about trying to spend time away from social media, trying to distance yourself. It's about embracing learning, about embracing something new, and doing whatever you need to do in order to honor that non-negotiable. Does that make sense? The others are great. Read more, yeah. Sleep early. So sleep early, what would a non-negotiable of rest look like? Rest. Saying no to anything urgent when I feel like it's going to compromise my sleep. Yes, Tima. Or time with my friends. Perfect. Yes, so you know what rest means. So what are things that are going to support you there? You said saying no to things that aren't urgent. Would that look like turning off your phone at 8 o'clock on a work night? Yes, great, Adnan. So by giving yourself supporting activities, those days when everything feels lackluster. For me, I look at Move on the fridge and I can't bother to go to the gym. Ugh, you know what? I am going to stick on my favorite song and I'm going to dance. And so if Move on that day means 5 minutes dancing around my kitchen, that's absolutely fine. I've moved my body. I've honored that primary thing that I know I need to be a better person every single day. I was asked recently, what is the most common mistake with non-negotiables? The most common mistake I see people make is they go through the motions. They don't embrace the process. They don't embrace the joy. They're going through the motions of, oh, I have to move today. Dun, 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 tick the box. I have to nourish. Green smoothie. And it's not about the intent behind it. Because as much as the actions and activities that honor, express, and support your non-negotiable are critical, it's the mindset behind which you're doing these things that is really going to support you. That's where the shift is going to come. So making your conscious choice, taking the time to have positive intention when you honor these non-negotiables is going to make the biggest difference, hands down. It's having the courage to speak up because I'm a freelancer. I get things at very late minute, very late at night. I never stick to my boundaries. Yes. Tima, well done. That last sentence, I want to live an authentic life. That's the start of your vision. That's the string on the woolly jumper that you can pull and unravel the thing. The vision that you hold for yourself is an authentic life. What does that look like? What does it feel like? What do you say yes to? What do you say no to? When you honor those non-negotiables, maybe you have a non-negotiable about space, about setting your work days, about training your clients, about when they can get in touch with you, when you will respond. And maybe that's a step too far right now. But if you start going to bed at a certain time every night, if you start honoring the non-negotiables that you know are important for you with that authentic life, if you start honoring the boundaries that you know you need to set for yourself, it's going to become much harder for people to push against those boundaries. Always have this image with boundaries of, the ballroom dancing shows where like, hold your frame, hold your frame. This is what boundaries become when you honor yourself consistently and with integrity. You hold your frame. And then you get to function in this open space that's all you. And it's easy then to say, hey, fuck off, I'm over here honoring myself. This is me showing up. Yeah, we can dance, but you dance in my frame. You don't crowd me, you don't crush me, you don't kill my spirit. This is what we're holding. Play is anything that feels fun. Yes. Has nothing to do with work, Jessie. Yes. Dance, puzzles, juggling, playing with Hugo. Yes. Sleep tracking, lights dimmed. No work right before bed. Shut off at least an hour before. Guys, if you don't do it, regardless of what your non-negotiables are, shut the screen off an hour before bed. Even now, with it being later for me here in Thailand, I've got a bright light in my face, a computer screen in my face, messages to read. My brain is going, wow, wow, wow. So I know I've got 45 minutes on that sofa with a cup of tea and a book. I may watch an episode of Friends, but I've got that downtime so that I sleep without all of this still in my head. Moves, training, connect is making time to connect with people I love. Calls with family, yes. If you guys know you need something around social interaction, if you need a non-negotiable there, it doesn't mean you have to go out with friends every day. It could be sending a silly photo to a friend, sending a voice note, having a phone call, grabbing a coffee, doing your grocery shopping with a friend. Non-negotiables don't have to be a big production. Again, it comes down to the intention behind them and honoring what you need, regardless of what anyone else says, thinks, or you think you should do. What do you actually need? Meditation, breathwork, yes. Connect, there you go, Joe. Wonderful. All right, we're scrolling down. So in your pack, guys, you have this pretty little tracker for non-negotiables. You've got a box up here for your vision, a box for the month, and a box for your season. And then you're going to write down your non-negotiable theme, that short, sharp tagline that is distilled from your season and the essence of who you are and what you need. If you have supporting activities that you know are going to help this, pop them in there. And then you've got a space to tick the box every single day. The reason I love habit trackers is because they pull in all of that goal-setting research, streak research, momentum research that say that having something that allows you to track, to create streaks, to gamify the process of building new habits is going to support you. The thing that makes non-negotiables even better than arbitrary habits is that they are distilled from the essence of who you are and who you want to be. Simply the act of knowing you're showing up for the greatest version of yourself creates momentum, creates a desire to show up. And for the days that you're not feeling so funky, not feeling so fizzy, but you're feeling like you're stuck in a funk, let's get my words out straight, you can tick. I encourage you, have one on your fridge, have one on your bathroom mirror, have one on the back of your front door. Everywhere you're going to see them, so it doesn't become that bit of paper that becomes part of the furniture. You see it in multiple places. Ooh, I'd love to see somebody write their non-negotiables on their mirror in a sexy red lip liner, guys. But getting your non-negotiables everywhere so you are reminded. And for extra brownie points, think about the obstacles that are going to show up. What's going to stop you moving? What's going to stop you connecting? What is going to stop you? What did we have? Breath work. What's going to stop the breath work? What's going to stop the learning? Preempt those obstacles, because just like fears and limiting beliefs lurking in the dark alley, obstacles show up in the same way. But if you identify them, if you name them, and if you give them a little bit of thought, you immediately start to think of ways that you can bypass them, that you can stop those derailers derailing you. And remember, any tool is just a tool. It's a useless inanimate object if you do not use it. Even if your non-negotiables don't feel perfect, even if it feels a bit strange and janky right now, the best way to see if this serves you is to start honoring your non-negotiables. So, let me get this back somewhere we can see. If you want to stay in touch with me, everything is Candice Ford Coaching. Facebook, Instagram, my website. My email is even Candice Ford Coaching. But I would love to hear from you. And if stuff resonated today and you want to learn more, I offer Self-Honor 101 as a free program. I offer one-on-one coaching. And I'm always open for a chat. So drop me a message on Instagram if you're stuck. If you have other questions that you didn't want to put in the group forum today, please let me know. My Instagram handles are there, and there's my email address for you as well, Candice Ford Coaching. I love non-negotiables. I watch them change my clients' lives, day after day after day. And they will change yours as well if you embrace them. Give it a go. Any more questions? I'm going to hang out for a little bit longer. If you guys have to go, hop off. As Jessie said, you guys will get the recording. So if you want to go back through, you absolutely can. You should all have the workbook in your inbox. And if you don't, then you can just shoot Jessie an email. She will get that out to you. But I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and come. I know there's one question in the Q&A. And I know Jessie's hopping back on as well.
Hello.
Okay. Fifth month. Oh, I've lost my chat's all gone funny. You're so welcome, Gilbert. You're welcome, Sarah, Adnan, Miro. Good job, guys. Use that tracker. I want to see it in use.
Yes. Firstly, I want to say a massive thank you, Candice. That was so fabulous. You know that I've done this all for myself before, but that it's really important that you don't just do this once. This is something that as you're doing this work and as the stages in your life change, you need to keep rechecking in and really seeing like what's serving me now and what do I need to adjust, because those non-negotiables will definitely change as you change and your life changes.
Absolutely. Typically, I see that people go about 3 months before they need to reevaluate. For those of you that said you were in a season of heal, it's going to be a much shorter time frame. If you really embrace this season and really honor yourself now, you've probably only got 4, 5, maybe 6 weeks to really recharge and then come back and revisit. See whether you're in a season of thrive or strive and what you need to support yourself there.
Yeah, so great. Tima's just put in a question. She thought a season of heal would take longer.
You'd be really surprised. Obviously, it depends what you're healing from and how, but if you really embrace it and if you have the ability to shed the heaviness, to shed the stuckness, and embrace what you need right now, the human body and the human brain are incredible things, and they will shift very, very quickly if you're showing up for yourself. If you feel that you're in a real state of burnout or a real state of stuckness, chances are you will shift from a season of heal into a season of thrive, and your focus will become less on the deep reflection and deep recovery and a lot more about being present in the moment, about showing up for yourself where you are. But see, everybody's different. That's my experience with the people that I've worked with. Maybe it will take you longer, and if it does, that's fine, because ultimately you're still strengthening that muscle of showing up for yourself. Got one Q&A here. Adnan, you had a question of what if you can't focus on a clear vision? Has that clarified a little bit as we've been talking? Okay, great. And guys, be gentle with yourselves. This is going to evolve. And as you practice and explore and start honoring yourself, your vision will get clearer because you'll be much more connected to what you need and want.
Excellent. So again, I want to say thank you so much, Candice, for your time. I definitely encourage everyone, if you aren't already following Candice, check her out on Instagram. She's always sharing really valuable content, and she is just a message away if you have any questions. Also, if this was really interesting to you, another coach that I have worked with, Anat Perry, who does a lot of work with inner child healing and sort of the wounds we learn from our parents, which all of us have. She and I are doing an Instagram live on Wednesday, the 23rd of September. And we're going to talk about that, what we've inherited from our parents and how those things can show up. And then we will be doing a live call in October as well. So all of this stuff, all of this work layers on each other. And all of it's so valuable. I cannot tell you how much doing this work, the work Candice does and the work that Anat does, has completely changed my life. So I hope that you will all tune in for that IG Live, and that you, if you're not following Candice, that you get following her. And if you're not following the Shiro Life, please follow, and also you can subscribe for our email list so you know about the events that we have coming up. And I think that's it. Thank you, Candice.
Thank you, Jessie. This has been so much fun. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in a week or so as well.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Yeah, she got me so excited about this work. And then obviously, I love that I have so many incredible coaches around me. And I have just women like yourself that are just inspiring all the time. And I'm so grateful to have you as a friend and as a person that I can call on anytime. So I'm glad that these people were able to get some of that from you today.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Again, if you have any questions, just let us know. And I will email out this recording next week. And I'll send out again the handout in case you didn't get that email. So you can watch this all over again and go through the whole process in your own time if you need to.